What exactly is escrow and how does the money move during a home sale? Today, I will break down this question because many homeowners and home buyers are confused by the word escrow. And also, I will be sharing something that I do that makes the sale go smoother, faster, and eliminates any surprises. So let's make escrow simple. What does escrow mean? Escrow is a neutral third party that manages the entire real estate transaction. Think of escrow as the referee, the safe middle point that holds money and the documents until everyone completes their part of the contract. Escrow makes sure that the buyer's money is real, makes sure that the seller owns the house, and I make sure every deadline is met. Now, the next question is, when do you open escrow? I personally, during the preparation of the listing, before I put the house active on the market, I order the preliminary report. And why is that? In this report, there is all the liens that are recorded on the house. For example, the mortgage is a lien. If you have a leased solar, that is a lien. If there was a second loan or a line of credit on the house, will be recorded there as well. We make sure we get the payoffs for all those liens so they're all paid at the close of escrow. And this one step makes everything go much smoother. And by doing that, that gives my sellers a massive advantage. By doing that, we gain so much time and we are ahead. And also it shows the buyer and the buyer agent that the seller is serious, the real estate agent is professional, and this is a sign for a clean transaction. And I have a story that happened with one of my clients. We ordered the preliminary report before we listed the house in the time we were preparing the house for sale, and we found out that there was a lien recorded on the property by a contractor that did the work on the property years ago, and the homeowner missed making the payment. So they cannot sell this property unless this lien is paid off. So I contacted the contractor, made sure we get the invoice, and I made sure this invoice is paid off before we put the house on the market for sale. And another benefit to ordering the preliminary report ahead of time is buyer's agents love it because they know what are they dealing with ahead of time and there are no surprises. And once we get a contract in hand, we go from we got an offer to let's close because the escrow is already open. Once we have the ratified offer in hand, the title company and escrow, they have a copy of the contract as well, and they will send wiring instructions to the buyer to deposit their money in escrow. Where does the earnest money deposit go? It goes into escrow, which is a neutral party that holds the money. It doesn't go to the seller and it doesn't go to the title company. Escrow holds these funds in secure trust account separate from all company money. The next question is the earnest money deposit refundable? Yes, it is refundable only if the buyer have in their contract conditions that protect them and protect the money. And those conditions are the inspections, the appraisals, the HOA docs, and the loan approval. But here I have to mention something. If the buyer waives all their conditions or contingencies, their initial deposit is at risk. How does the escrow handle the money? Escrow receives buyer's initial deposit, escrow receives buyer down payment. They also receive the loan money and they pay off the seller mortgage, taxes, HOA fees and credits, and then they pay broker fees and they release the net proceeds to the seller. And here I have to mention something very important, which is wiring instructions fraud. We all know that the hackers are all out there trying to hack into computers and they do target real estate transactions. So if you are as a home buyer received wiring instructions from the title company to wire your earnest money deposit or to wire your down payment, once you get this wiring instructions from the escrow company, pick up the phone and call your escrow person and verify the wiring instructions. After you do that, go ahead and wire the money. And here I have to warn you, between that one call and later on when you decide to wire the money, if you receive any emails that says wiring instructions have changed or anything of that sort, do not respond to that. Call your escrow person again and report this event because this could be somebody hacked into the systems. And if you open that email and follow what they have told you in that email, you can lose your money, and you definitely don't want that to happen. And the same goes to the home sellers. When you meet with the escrow person and sign off on your property, you are going to give the escrow person your bank account and your routing number. And after that happens, if you get an email from the escrow company that talks about wiring instructions or anything of that sort, call your escrow person immediately and verify, and do not follow any instructions that comes to you through email after you already talked to them in person. Next, how does the escrow work with the buyer? If the buyer has a loan, escrow and the lender work hand in hand. The lender sends the loan docs to the escrow. Escrow schedules the signing. The buyer does sign the loan docs. Escrow sends everything back to the lender. The lender reviews and wires loan funds to the escrow. The escrow confirms the funds are in, and then escrow prepares the file to record within the county. And here I have to mention that when the seller signs off on their property, that doesn't mean they closed. Also, when the buyer signs the loan docs, that does not mean that they already closed. The property closes when it closes and records at the county records, and we get an email from the escrow company that the property went on record. At that point, the property does not belong to the seller anymore, and it is owned by the new home buyer. After the buyer signed the loan docs, those docs go back to the lender, get reviewed by the lender, and the loan funds, then we close. Next question is, after closing, who gets the money? The seller will get their net proceeds wired to their bank account. The brokers will get paid their broker fees, and all the other payoffs will happen, such as HOA fees, credits, or loans. And the escrow does protect the buyer and the seller, and let me tell you how is that. For my sellers, I do not hand off the keys to the buyer till the escrow is closed. Escrow does handle the buyer's money. Your mortgage and taxes are paid off through escrow. Now let me talk about how is escrow beneficial for the buyer. The loan and the closing funds are secure, and they do not release money till it goes on record. Escrow might sound complicated on the outside, but when you understand the whole process, it is a very clear process. And when you work with an agent that prepares everything up front, you are on the right path for a very clear and smooth transaction. My name is Heba Rayan. I am a realtor with Coldwell Banker in Danville in the East Bay. I help homeowners sell their homes with clarity, confidence, and for the highest return. As a former real estate appraiser, I combine appraisal expertise with strategic marketing to make my clients win in any market.